Welcome to another Medieval Tom video, and today we are doing something that I'm not super excited about, but I figured I would do because you gotta face your fears. So let me go ahead and preface this by saying that if you have thalassophobia or megalophobia, you probably will not want to watch this. I don't even want to be a part of this, but I'm doing it for fun. I have a weird idea of fun, apparently. So, fun fact about me, I have thalassophobia, which, if you don't know, is a fear of, not water, but deep water, like the ocean, you know? Like, large bodies of water is thalassophobia. And then megalophobia is a little bit of a weirder one, but, fears of gigantic things, so, Siren Head, for example. That's not, the exact definition, but that's an example. Or, gigantic skyscrapers make me anxious. They just make me feel a little anxious. But I'm going to be reacting to the r/thalassophobia and r/megalophobia. And this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I guess let's just get it over with. Okay, but let's just move on. Let's go. I have to hype myself up for this because okay, so I have a feeling that some of these are going to be silly, but some of these are going to be genuinely anxiety-inducing for me. So, now that I'm not as okay with. That one I'm not as okay with. This one is I've seen this one. This one is a mix of thalassophobia and megalophobia. Because the fear that I would have that's a tsunami, I would probably know that it wasn't, but that is a very anxiety-inducing video. These have been playing since I started, so. Why am I crying? That is terrible. I feel why am I crying? Oh my god. I don't like that one. Another thing about me is I can't swim. That's a fun fact about Medieval Tom, aka me. I cannot swim. So I think that helps my thalassophobia intensify, knowing that I would drown so fast. Also, at one point in my life, I had claustrophobia. I got over it, for the most part. I still hate being, in super tight, crowded places, but look at those grippers. Put those grippers away! Yeah, that's not doing it for me. This one doesn't do it for me. Stolen content. I think the reason that these kinds of videos make me uncomfortable is also part of my megalophobia, because the ocean is so vast. Literally anything can be living in the ocean that could be gigantic. You can't even see the end. I recently went to Lake Superior, and I've never been to an ocean, partially because of this, but I've never been to an ocean, and I went to Lake Superior, and I had some slight anxiety throughout being there because you couldn't see the end of it. You could kind of see the end, you could kind of see the edge of Wisconsin, but overall you couldn't see the end of it, and it made me very anxious because that is a lot of water. There's lots of things that could be in there. I know it was a lake, but even still. Ooh, no thanks. No. What are these things? I can't tell if I find them cute or terrifying. I don't know how I feel about you. I don't know. Here, let me adjust my camera just a little. There we go. So I'm actually more in frame when I flinch out of the way. That one's the same one. No longer available. Scariest one of all. No. No. Yeah, that's just not real. I refuse to believe. British Columbia, what the hell? What are you doing? What is this? I know it says sturgeon. I can read. Don't like it. I think I've seen this one. Oh, yeah. This one, it does send a little shiver down my spine. I'll be honest. I can't imagine diving and then looking up and seeing a gigantic ship. Because those ships are huge. They're gigantic. And it really messes with my megalophobia. Ooh, I'm getting, I don't know if you can see it, but I have goosebumps. I don't think you can see it. I feel like I cry when I see gigantic things. I think this one's just funny. Oh. Oh. This is why I haven't been to the ocean. This is why. He's smiling. Hello. Hi. We're gonna keep scrolling past you. What is this? What is this? You stop this. See, now what would make this trigger my thalassophobia is if when you fell underneath, there was a giant monster waiting for you. How nice would that be? No. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, that's what I thought. No, no, I'm good. Thanks. Damn, okay. Stop! Stop it! No! I'm gonna cry. Lots of thalassophobia videos and such, they mix my biggest fears. The fear of the ocean, and then fear of gigantic things. And that made me want to cry. I'm not gonna vote on that. I'm not staying here. Why would I join a thalassophobia? Why would I be watching videos and photos? That's a good question. No. Seen that one. Seen that one. Don't get me wrong. Blue whales, beautiful. Why are they so big? Why can like 800,000, I don't know how many whales there are in the world. How can so many whales exist in the ocean? That's how big it is. Do you ever think about that? I think about that all the time. That's why I have thalassophobia. Why does he have such sharp teeth? I didn't realize they had such sharp teeth. Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? I don't care about reading. We don't care about reading. This is kind of just cool. I'm trying to find one that I know that I would like react to. The ones where it's just like diving into things is not. No. Is that real? No. No. Do you see what I mean? This is why I have thalassophobia. This is what makes me uncomfortable. That's so much water. Why? Why? Okay. This reminds me of Finding Dory. I don't like that one. Yeah, it's not a good one. Oh, it's this one again. This is a good one to end on. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's terrible. That gives me, okay. We are going to move on. I'm crying. Now that I'm crying, we're going to move on to my megalophobia, which I think is a little worse. Hopefully this Reddit will have some good things. Okay. This one, no, I'm fine. This one makes me, it's pretty. It's pretty. Inside of a windmill. That's just interesting. It reminds me how big they are. I've seen this one so many times. This is one of the ones that kind of messes with me. Because I know it's not real. But it's just, yeah, wrong. This is a mushroom. Doesn't really affect me. This one I have seen and I don't like it. Why? Why? Don't. This one, it's a no for me. It's a no for me. Why? I could not drive on that. You couldn't pay me to drive or walk on that when that's happening. See, pictures like this. This is a prime example of megalophobia. You know why? My brain just can't comprehend it. And then the planes for size, my brain cannot comprehend it. We've seen one similar to this. This is okay. I think this is okay. For me. That doesn't really do much for me. Yeah, we're good. I think pictures like this make me think about how if I was outside and I looked up at the sky, and I saw this, it would be unbelievable. It's so big. These kinds of pictures make my brain shut off. Yeah, I don't like this one. That's not a good one. This one's fine. This one reminds me of Siren Head that I mentioned. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. That one is uncool. Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't like this one because it reminds me that I'm nothing. I'm minuscule. We're nothing compared to the universe, which is kind of cynical, but if you really think about it, I'm gonna have like a crisis. I'm gonna have a crisis while I'm on camera. I'm gonna give you all crises. I feel like I have very specific megalophobia that I can't place it. There are some things that make me just shiver, and then there are some things that I am fine with. A lot of nature things are okay. Now this one gets me. This one makes me not so happy. Not so happy about this one. Can I see a person in comparison, please? That would really get me. That would make me cry, I think. Is there a person at some point? I mean, a person probably wouldn't want to get close to that guy. No, probably not. This one gets me just a little bit. Just a little bit. See, this kind of thing. Sometimes, fun little story time. When I go on long road trips, sometimes my brain creates these creatures that kind of look like this. This one's kind of funny because of the caption, but my brain creates these, and then I look out the window, and I'm like, what if, just from like the clouds, all of a sudden like a giant hand just reached down and snatched me up? What then? What do I do? How do you deal with that? What do you do? Cry. Is that the gate to hell? No. That is just a fun little phenomenon that I assume happens in the water, which is scary. That's why I don't like it. That makes me uncomfortable. Redwood trees are part of... I would love to see one in real life. I'd probably cry. But this one's kind of just astonishing. 600 to 800 years old. Wow. Old. Little granny. These kinds of videos... I don't like them. These kinds of videos make me think about, like, what if that happened? Obviously, we'd be able to see it. Like, wow, the sun's getting closer. Or the ones where, like, the moon crashes down. Obviously, the logistics don't make sense of these videos. There'd be so much happening beforehand. You shut up. My little brain can't comprehend it, okay? So, I guess without further ado, I'll go ahead and end the video there because there's not tons of good ones in here. Here, you know what? Before we end, let me go ahead and just Google megalophobia. pictures, and then let's see what comes up. Because I feel like there are gonna be better ones if I just Google search. Yeah. Yeah. These kinds of photos mess with me. I don't like that. How was it in there? Yep, this one? Not cool. Here, let me move that. See? Don't like that. That one's not cool. Oh, my God. Why? No, I'm not looking. I pretend I do not see. I'm crying. Let's look up thalassophobia instead. Phobia. I can't spell. Thalassophobia, thank you. You know... I'm literally crying, but, we're gonna exit out of that, because I can't handle that. Wait a minute, what? Excuse me? Oh. Damn. Can't have shit in Ohio. Okay, that was a good one to end on. I'm literally crying. But that's okay. No, that's fine. We're okay. Thank you all so much for watching me face my fears and completely fail. If you had thalassophobia or megalophobia and you watch this, I'm so sorry that you can relate to this, because, oh my god, some of those, I'm not a fan. Okay, so, thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna end this video before I start sobbing. I'm going to exit out of everything, all of my tabs, ban it from my search history so that social media, Facebook can't show me photos of that because I think I'm interested in it. I'm not, do you hear me? I'm not interested in it. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!